What's up, guys? It's Truth here. I just wanted to tell y'all how I use loops. I got a loop that actually is a collab loop. Yours truly made this loop using my MIDI, I think. Either way, it's a collab with me, and I thought it sounded fire. So I just wanted to show people how I would use this. All I did was drag it in here, and right now, at this moment, it's not in the right BPM. So if you look right here, it says 153. Which all your loops should say the BPM, and if they don't, try to find it by turning on your, if you need to find out how to find BPM of something, you should look at another video. But basically, I'm just going to match that BPM exactly to 153 before I do anything else. Now that it's on grid, I'm going to chop the end right on the line, the nearest actual dark line, just so that it's on grid. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to use a slice tool right here, and then I'm going to shift right click on that line, and it'll get rid of the smallest side, which was the right side. Now it's on grid. Make sure your magnet tool when you do that is on line. That's the best way to do it, because whenever you're shift clicking with the slice tool, that's going to make it go to whatever your magnet is set at. So it'll make it up, straight up and down instead of like this. So there we go. Put it on the pencil. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to chop out the stems. And you'll be able to tell where the stems are by the spaces in between each element. If there's a big space, that's probably an indication that the rest of those are stems. So you just take that out, line it up where his main arrangement ends. You only need to use the stems if you really hear something you'd like to change. But overall, I know this is going to sound fire how it is. So I'm going to control scroll to zoom, and I'm going to look at the beginning. So this is a MP3 loop, and I like MP3 loops because they save space. They're not that large of files, but they always have metadata at the beginning, like the title and everything, just random little things that are stored at the beginning of the file instead of the end for some reason. So whoever made MP3s decided to do that. Thank them for making your life slightly harder, but it's so easy to fix. There's multiple ways to do this, but the way I do it on FL is I get this pencil tool and I hover over this waveform, not the title right here, but over this waveform, and I shift and then scroll, and I get rid of that empty space. Sometimes that empty space was actually part of the loop, so you'll be able to hear if it's off time. Just try to find where it really starts, which should be right here, where the space is gone, and then you can really test that by looking and seeing at every other main point, like these dark lines right here, like 17, 33, whatever. Try to find spots where you could tell if this waveform is on time, and then you want to listen and make sure. So right here, see 17, you can tell the waveform shifts slightly right there, which is good. That means like the note changed or something. So right here at 41, yeah, if that's off, it would have been looking like this. So we moved that over until right there. Now it looks like it's on grid. Yep. So now we're gonna listen. I'm gonna save this real quick. So that's beautiful. I'm gonna go to the end of the loop on the timeline and just see how long it is. So it's only 1 minute and 26 seconds. So I'm gonna duplicate it. I highlighted it with control click and then I control B, and now it's duplicated. Now I can see how long I want to make it. So I want it to end around 2:43. So I'll probably stop it right there. Control S and save it. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click right here, pattern 1. You can also right click to see all of your patterns. And if you have no patterns, it's just going to have a pattern 1 right there. So you want to select that, make sure it's selected by clicking on it. And now it's going to show up that it's selected right here. You could also just go over here and click on it right there. And then paste it by clicking with the pencil tool. And then drag it how long you want it to be. I like mine to be 16 bar patterns, so it loops every 16 bars. Boom, 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 boom. And I just duplicate that over and over and over, and then take it out where I think it's necessary. But right now, as I'm making the beat, I just keep the pattern fully throughout the whole thing, just so I can keep hearing the beat repeat. So I'm gonna start with a clap, just to, you know, keep me on time. That's what I'm doing that really for your sake. So let's grab a clap. Now I'm gonna put the clap in these spots because boom. Because that'll keep it on time. So I just wanted to show y'all that. Put it in spots like that, or you can put it wherever you want, really. There's no rules to music, as long as it sounds good and the rhythm is nice, you know. Just do what you want. Fill each 2 steps. So instead of just like Control B and making it like duplicate right after the last note, I use if you haven't noticed, I use this right here by control dragging on this black timeline where I want it to start the next part. So I wanted it to duplicate at that bar 3. So I selected from bar 3 back everything that I wanted to duplicate, and then I Control B and it just duplicated it over. Now right here, I'm gonna click a note where I want all of them to connect to. Control L, get rid of that last note. Control L makes everything connect and glue together. And now I'm gonna, if you have nothing selected on the piano roll, every command you're doing is gonna actually just apply to everything on that piano roll. And if you have something specifically selected, then it's only going to do it to those things. So I'm going to have nothing selected by Control D for deselect, and then I'm going to Alt R, and that's this randomizer tool, and I turned off the pattern, and you can use that in a different way, but I didn't really need that. I don't want it to be a bunch of random notes, not at the moment at least. And I have levels on, and then I change this pan knob to just pan everything like left and right, and then the velocity to be a little more random so it doesn't sound so robotic. And then I have bipolar on, and then I click accept. So the way that I just did that is I selected one of the notes, and this is why I have them all connected, because that way you can do stuff like this. I selected that note and I clicked Alt U, and on Mac Alt is Option and Control is Command, just so you know. So then you can move this and it will make it like a roll, but I just want those 2 notes right there just for the vibes. These knobs on the left are panning knobs, and the knobs on the right are volume knobs, if you don't know that. So I like to pan things, it just gives it more realistic feeling. So yeah. So I do my 808s in a higher octave. And octaves, if you don't know, you know, this is the same note. C5 is the same note as C6. It's just a lower pitch. So basically, that's a lower octave. I do it the higher octaves so that I can hear the note better and actually tell if it sounds right or not. So. Sometimes the 808 doesn't have enough room because of the volume of other things in the beat, like the melody, whatever. So sometimes you might need to turn down your melody. And I'm not making the beat out loud, I'm making it on my headphones, and sometimes it sounds a little different. So it might not be perfectly mixed, but let me see. So sometimes there's too much low end clashing with your 808 as well. If you want to make room for your 808 to really hit, you can take your melody and put it in your mixer, channel route it in your mixer by selecting it, go to your mixer, right click, channel route, and then put it in there. And then throw an EQ on it and take out the lows, and you can scroll on these to make it more narrow. Try to even it out, take out the lows right there. So now, and I turned on cut itself, just so you know. I know I didn't mention that earlier. Right click and cut itself makes it to where they're not overlapping each other. Whenever they're whenever the next note hits, it stops the note before. Now I'm gonna get this audio file, route it to my mixer. That's my friend's laugh, by the way, Red. I'm gonna put on delay. Try to get it to line up. So I'm affecting the amount of those effects that's on it right here on the mix knob. So from there, what I'd do is I'd right click on the pattern that I just made. You know, I made this entire loop. Now the beat is looping how I want it. I'll right click that pattern and clone it. And then I'll right click the new one and split it by channel. Get rid of all those real quick. It doesn't actually get rid of them. They're still right here in this first pattern I made. But now that cloned pattern is split up, so now I can click the top one of those, click the bottom one with shift click, drag them all out, line them up. Select them all, control drag, control B over and over, line it up to the end. I'm actually going to get rid of this last one so it just breathes for a good 8 bars. And I'm going to control X to get rid of anything that's selected. Select the first part and I'm going to make it start at bar 9. So So then I just, you know, chop things out where I see fit, and I'll let you do that creatively. I'm not gonna go through all that right now. After you're done with the beat, I mean, that's really it. Really, just get creative with it. Do whatever you feel like doing. You can watch my other video, the first video I made, and just see my entire process of how I make a melody, how I do all this other stuff, and I explain in detail a lot of things. And you know, these aren't even really my best beats if I'm being honest. I just want to teach y'all, and I make these the day of, I'm not gonna lie. So like I got other things on my mind that I'm doing. I'm making a lot of other music for myself, not really like whenever I make a video for y'all, it's really just to teach you. So this isn't like my best stuff ever, but I hope that helps. Thanks for pulling up. It's 333, so I'm gonna end it right here. Watch my other stuff. If you ever need beats, melodies, consultations on, you know, how to market yourself, industry, stuff like that, get in there, meet people, just different things. Talk to me, DM me at AllTruth with an X instead of the U, just like it is on my channel. I'm the same everywhere. Just hit me up. Peace.